Yes, hello, Marcus from Savvy Solutions with this week's sales tip. Nice, short, impact one this week. Telling is selling. Whoever's doing the talking is doing the selling, and people hate being sold to, but they love to buy. So how do you create an environment for them where they get the opportunity to do something they love, which is buy, without feeling though they're being sold to? It's understanding this one thing. The human being will pay, it's 10 times more impacting for them to hear themselves say something out loud than it is to hear that exact same something out of your mouth. So 10 times more impacting when they hear themselves say it. So you want to be having 70% of the conversation time, you want to be listening, and you want them to be driving the conversation, and 30% well, you're driving it, but they're talking, and 30% of the time is actually when you're doing the talking. Now, so many salespeople actually spend more time talking than they do listening, but 70% of the time you absolutely ought to be in the mode of listening. So if telling's selling and people hate being sold to, and you ought to spend 70% of the time listening, then this comes down to questions. It's absolutely imperative to ask the right questions at the right time, in the right tone, so that you can elicit from them logical information, and you can elicit from your prospective buyer emotional information. And the secret here is, the quick rule of thumb is, any question that can't be answered in a yes or a no is going to be a higher quality question than a question that can be answered in a yes or a no. And a little bit of a tip here is, if you put how or why at the front of your question, typically that question won't be able to end in an answer that can be responded to in a yes or a no. Understand that the way we are biologically hardwired, when we hear ourselves say something out loud, it's 10 times more impacting to us than if we hear a salesperson say that same content to us. Telling is selling. How can you navigate your sales situations so that you're doing a ton more listening than you are doing telling? I trust this is of help, and if anything I can do to support you further, just let me know.